Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. I'm going to be covering the Snowflake IPO, its future, its valuations, and all this exciting stuff. So make sure to listen through the whole video for a surprise at the end. But essentially, what Snowflake is, a lot of people are a little confused. It kind of came out of nowhere. Snowflake, according to Wikipedia, offers a cloud-based data storage and analytics service, generally termed a data warehouse as a service that allows corporate users to store and analyze data using cloud-based hardware and software. It runs on the Amazon S3 since 2014 and Microsoft Azure since 2018. Has over 1,400 employees. It's an industry in cloud computing, cloud data platform. Essentially, what all that means is that they do marketing of your data, they help manage your data, they help keep your data secure, all this exciting stuff. But ultimately, the company is not a net profit, they are at a net loss. They do have a lot of potential growth in the future, but right now they're potentially valuing this at a 30 to $40 billion company, and honestly, there's just not that much value in this company. Now, they offer a plethora of different services. They offer financial services. They offer healthcare and life sciences services for that data. They offer retail and CPG, advertising, media, and entertainment. They offer technology. They offer government associated contracts that they work with and deal with. They have over 1,000 or so clients, but is that value worth it? Are they really generating that much profit? The answer is not really. The According to Renaissance Capital, Snowflake is the largest software IPO on record and the largest since Uber's 8.1 billion IPO in 2019. Uber was at a significant net loss, so it seems that the higher they push these valuations, ultimately seems, at least to me, to assume that they're not really making much profits. There isn't much future growth. They're already projecting it in, which generally means that a lot of the people that are tied to it want out, not want in. They wouldn't be projecting it at such obscene high valuations if that was the case, that they expected, more natural growth in the long term. But they were initially seeking 20 billion. Now their valuation may be 30 to 40 billion valuation, if not more. They essentially, let's scroll back up here, that according to the TechCrunch article here, that they were generating a revenue of 96.7 million, and then the next year they were doing 264.7 million, 150% growth. The problem with that is that in the end they were netting a loss. In no way does Snowflake's operations pay for themselves. The company is super unprofitable in both on operating and the net basis. In the fiscal year ending 2019, they lost 178 million on a net basis. A year later, they figure swelled to 348.5 million. So you kind of have a Tesla company valuation here. You're valuing a company and you have to move up the share price in order to maintain the company to stay in business. Tesla's model is basically, without that move up on the share price, they can literally go bankrupt. This company, Snowflake, seems to be modeled off a very similar concept, and that's not exactly a company that I'd want to get into. I mean, they're not really generating any profits, but yet they're being valued at billions of dollars in future revenue growth. They're kind of on a break even to profitable, maybe eventually, but is that value worth billions of dollars? Is that worth $200 plus a share? Uh, Personally, no, I don't think so. Some people might value it that, but I would say that a realistic value to get into a realistic share price would be 50 to 80 range. Will it go that low? Not necessarily, but their original projected share price was around 80, which was a little bit more fair market for the way that tech overvalues everything. But in the end, the main thing you have to keep in mind, you got Warren Buffett associated. You got big banks associated. There's a lot of tied monies to this company, so they're probably going to have a pop top open. But is it worth chasing at this point? Probably not, because the best value you could probably get in is at the pre-IPO price, which is already getting kind of obscene because there's so many supposed interest parties, blah blah blah. The main fact is they're investing a lot of tied monies to this company, and that in turn makes it appealing to smaller term investors. But the smaller term investors are basically stair steps to the larger people's monies so that they can pocket those monies and get out. And they can still hold a portion because the lockup period locks up a portion of shares or their position in that. So they have to hold it above a certain price. That helps balance and offset that price that they got to hold for X number of months or whatever the lockup period might be this time around. Stock twits being pretty bullish, kind of self-explanatory. People are getting excited over it, but at this point, you're already chasing before it even IPO'd. Is it really worth it to chase this company? Not really, not in my opinion. It might open at $200 a share, but they're not even generating a single dollar of profit. Is that a company that you'd really want to be in? They do a lot of different stuff. I'm not saying that it's a bad company. I'm just saying that it's not a very profitable company. And the reason a lot of companies decide to IPO on the stock market is because they are not. They won't be able to stand operations without the stock market investors' monies. They had to raise private funding of, I think it was upwards of 1 billion plus in private funding, which is fair in regards to what their current valuation was at the time of their potential growth. But now they want 30 to 40 billion. That's getting kind of I would say greedy at this point. But hey, this is their valuation. If you want to chase that valuation, that's all right. That's your choice. But I don't see that it's going to sustain any reasonable bumped up price right into open or in the following days. So in a shorter term swing, I would say that it would be better to short it or buy puts when you can. In a longer term, you might see some valuation into it if you intend to hold it for 5 or 10 years, but it's already IPOing at a pretty ridiculous price, and according to Renaissance Capital, the largest IPO since 2019. So something you got to keep in mind here. And they already raised a bunch of monies for their initial, private funding, and now they want to raise more monies. What happened to those monies already that they raised? Most of it was wasted to pay their CEOs and pay their employees just to stay in business, just to stay maybe slightly break even. They're not really generating that much profits according to TechCrunch. So this is a company that's has its ups and downs. Cloud computing isn't exactly a small sector, but it's a very competitive one. So you got to ultimately come down to, is there anything inherently unique about this company comparative to others that offer very, very similar services? Now, they've grown a lot in the last couple of years, but will this be sustainable when pandemic stuff goes down? Will this be sustainable in 5 to 10 years? Personally, I don't really see much valuation in it, not at its current share price. If it IPO'd at the 70 to 80 original intended price, maybe it would have been a little bit better to get into, but now we're looking at 200, maybe 250 into just the open. Is that something you'd want to consider personally in getting into this company? For me, not so much. They do offer a lot of services, whether you want to consider those as worthwhile, that's up to you. But personally, for me, it's not for me. And thank you for listening to the whole video. If you want to see more polar bears, if you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for listening in. I will try to be making more videos like this at a longer length, explaining things like the Snowflake IPO or explaining other IPOs coming up or market share valuation and terminology of different stock market stuff. I'm doing upcoming videos for the stock market in general, for those new to trading, upcoming videos for options trading, and a bunch of other fun things. Leave in the comments below what you think about the Snowflake IPO, and what you feel you might want to see videos wise in the future for other content, and I can make whatever you guys had in mind. You know, Any video that you can think of, I can make for you guys. I just need to know what you guys like particularly and what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks for stopping by and have a nice day.